Hey, you're listening to YouWithoutYourHead.com, and this is Michael Berryman. Don't touch that dial.
All right, we are back, and we're joined by Tom Towles. Welcome Without Your Head.
Hey. Hey, everybody. How are you?
I think everyone's doing good, and yourself?
I'm actually pretty damn good and damn proud of it.
Oh, man. Excellent.
Yeah, that's my macho voice, my radio voice. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Towles. Deeply disturbed individual. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. That was an internal thought.
Oh, all right. That's all right. We gotta get all the dirt here on Without Your Head.
I hate it when they just escape like that suddenly. Damn it.
Well, first of all, you'll let everybody know you're going to be at the Rock and Shock Convention. That's October 12th, 13th, and the 14th at the DCU Center and Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts. And if you want to find out information about that, you go to rockandshock.com.
Absolutely. Looking forward to being there. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Come on out. Everybody. If you love horror, come to the Rock and Shock.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that's another ad. Oh,
yeah.
Man. I'm so confused right now.
Do you enjoy going to these and meeting the fans and interacting with everybody?
Actually, this will be my first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. The opportunity to meet and interact with everybody, and I have no idea what they're like. It's just one of those things. I didn't think that I had any, what can I say, value or basis to appear in these things. I just figured I was another schlub appearing in movies occasionally.
Uh-huh.
And then now I find out, well, they'd like you to appear at these things.
That's how we build you on our website.
Another schlub who appears in movies.
Right. No.
Oh, thanks, guys. That's so special. I'm getting weepy now. Oh my God.
Do you think do you think there's going to be anything in particular that they're going to ask to get signed? Do you think they're going to be older fans more than to Henry, or newer fans into the Rob Zombie films?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm just looking forward to being there. I mean, Henry was great, but I mean, in terms of contemporary society that says, what have you done lately? It's quite a while ago. The most recent stuff is all the Rob Zombie stuff, which is, he's an absolute hoot to work with. I mean, it's one of the most fun shoots I've ever been consistently on. I've been fortunate enough to do everything that Rob has done. I mean, at least appear in everything. And, it's a crapshoot, guys. I have not a clue. Mm-hmm. I'm just going out there, this wide-eyed, innocent, looking to get my my autographed cherry popped. What can I say? That's the only way I can look at it. You sit down at the table and you see what happens. I mean, I love meeting people.
Yeah.
And, the fans of these movies are some of the most interesting and greatest people that I've ever met. I mean, occasionally somebody will come up and say something to me, and they're always just a delight to talk to. So let's see what happens. I'm really, as they say, stoked, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry,
you mentioned you were in all Rob's movies, basically. Did you just hit it off with him the first time you worked with him?
Pretty much from the beginning. I mean, it's frankly, it's impossible not to hit it off with Rob. He's just such a great person. I mean, he's got this insane imagination. He knows exactly what he wants. I've worked with a lot of first-time directors, and I've never seen anybody master the process as instantly as Rob did in House of a Thousand Corpses. Mm-hmm. But then you have to remember, he was, a long-time rock and roller moving shows around internationally. It's like moving a circus. And that's exactly what it's like to make a movie. Mm-hmm. Whatever will go wrong, or whatever can go wrong, certainly will go wrong. Why get upset about it? Just keep moving. He has a clarity of vision which makes any actor very comfortable. I mean, because if you know what the director wants, it's very easy for the most part to give it to them. He spent a lot of time in the casting, and he knew the people that he wanted. I mean, he has an absolute love of the genre. He is as knowledgeable in it as anyone that you'll ever meet, and it shows. I mean, each film is progressively better. I mean, it's just, and each one is uniquely different unto itself.
Yeah, he doesn't just, it's not like every movie's another House of a Thousand Corpses. Each movie's its own movie.
Exactly. I mean, and it's just, it's interesting to watch the progression, to watch what happens, what he brings to each event. I mean, I thought Halloween was one of the genuinely scary movies I've seen in a very long time. He never had what I consider a false moment, you know, where there's music and then suddenly you turn around and it's a pigeon flying out of the thing.
Right, just kind of something.
Somebody's going to be grabbed. They're going to be grabbed. They're going to be beat to shit. Oh, can we say that on?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to sit there. By the end of that movie, you're exhausted. And I like that. I mean,
yeah.
I like that a lot.
Were you nervous at all going into, remake of Halloween, since, it's such a big movie, such kind of a classic horror movie?
No. I mean, when you go in to make a movie, you just go in to make that movie. It doesn't matter what's gone before it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just there. You try and remain in that moment. And like I said, Rob is incredibly fun and easy to work with. The entire atmosphere on the set is light. There's no pressure. You get a lot of latitude to do what you want. If he likes it, he'll say, oh, that's great, keep going. If he doesn't, say, no, change it. We'll do this instead.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you very comfortable. And you're basically there for no other reason than to, quite frankly, make him as happy as you possibly can. Because, you really believe in him. I mean, his sense of the process and his ability to articulate his vision is very infectious, and it spreads throughout the entire set, and you just have really a great time working with him.
You mentioned, you could tell like his love for the genre, and in all of his movies, there's a lot of cameos. Do you think that adds a lot to his movies?
I honestly, I can't say. I think what it does is it gives him an opportunity to bring people in that he really likes to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he loves the people who appear in these movies. And once you work with him, you're just happy to be there.
Mm-hmm. They're not really cameos because they're not just popping up for no reason. It's just, even now his Sherry Moon told me there are no small roles, is what his line is. But the roles that don't have a lot of lines in the movies, most of them are, pretty famous actors like yourself, and Sid Haig is, in Halloween.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's a difficult question to answer. I mean, when we go in, it's because Rob wants us.
Mm-hmm.
He's called and said, hey, man, come on, we're doing this. And it's like being invited to a huge party. And you have absolutely no concern for the size of the role. You just want to be there and party with Rob.
Right.
That's basically what it comes down to. And once it's over, you're never disappointed in what he does.
Mm-hmm. I think for hardcore fans, it really adds something, because it's kind of fun to go to the movie and see, all these kind of iconic characters throughout the whole movie. I mean, there's so many of them in Halloween.
Well, again, it goes back to his love of the genre. For him, it's an opportunity to play with friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we all love playing with him. What can I say?
Right. Would you like to see Werewolf Women of the SS maybe revisited for a short film or a feature film?
Oh, God, yes. Yes, simply because of the absolute madness involved. I mean, the complete insanity of it. How would you create this story? I think had Grindhouse been, I'm going to be polite about this, more productive economically.
Right.
I genuinely believe that at one point or another, each of those trailers would have been made into, a super B movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because those directors and those trailers were created, as a larger sphere of thinking for this event. And the only thing that prevented that was, nobody wanted to spend 3 hours in a movie theater on one movie. 2 movies with trailers.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed or not, but when it's released on DVD, they don't have any of the trailers in either of the special edition DVD. They broke up the movies into two separate DVDs, and they didn't include the trailers on either one. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, which to be honest, I wasn't too happy about. It's kind of like you're buying the DVDs and you're not even getting the same movie that you saw at the theater.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that, well, who's to say? They split the movies. They might put the trailers in as a completely separate DVD set.
Yeah,
who knows?
I think
after a certain point, when you work, when it's finished, you just gotta let it go.
Right.
And whatever happens, happens. Mm-hmm. I have no control over that, and
I wasn't blaming you.
Oh man, you were, and when this is over, I'm gonna cry. You just hurt me, man.
I get my $25 back, Tom Towles.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
But
okay.
All right, just
let's move on, for Christ's sake.
Just give a shout out here to Troy, who couldn't be here tonight. Yeah, but he did draw your caricature.
Man, Troy, if you are listening, or they can send you a tape, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to find a way to get it printed up, and I'm going to use it, man, if that's not a problem with you, bro, because it's absolutely fabulous.
I'm sure he'll be all right. I can actually get you a full-size picture of that if you want.
I would love that.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll send that over to Wayne and hook you up with it.
I would absolutely love that, because I'm telling you, man, I love that picture.
Awesome. Yeah, I think only one. We won't get into that, but one of our guests on the show was not happy with his caricature.
Really?
I think he wanted more hair. But,
I abandoned that concept a long time ago.
I don't know what I was going to ask this. Actually, one of our fans on our board, that they said, was there ever any ever enter your mind to maybe wear a toupee or anything like that?
Of course. I'm as vain as anybody else, but once you put it on, I mean, in Werewolf Women of the SS, they made me a little hairpiece, and it sits right in the middle of my head, and I thought, that looks absolutely ridiculous. And that's how I felt whenever I wore a hairpiece. So,
right.
Get over it.
Yeah. Were you ever upset that you were killed off in House of a Thousand Corpses?
No. I tend to expect that.
Oh, okay.
I rarely survive a film. I actually have a separate reel of the number of ways that I've been killed. I've had my head cut off in the Barlower, rat tail comb through the eye in Henry, bullet to the head, of course, by Karen Black. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, man. I mean, think about it. Been set on fire and blood in, blood out. Let's see what else. Oh, man, the list is massive. The only stuff I survive in is television. And that's only because they can't kill me quite as violently as they can do in film. But
right.
Look at this face, man. I mean, this is a face that's destined to die on screen.
Is there any particular one that was your favorite death scene?
Ooh, my favorite death scene. Actually, I'm really very fond of the death scene in Henry, raping my sister, Henry, and her sticking a rat tail comb through my eye. That one, I sort of,
Yeah, it's hard to top that, I would say.
I know. When you think about it, everything else sort of falls short.
Yeah. Did you have a question, John?
I had a question about some of your TV endeavors. I noticed on your resume on the IMDb.com, that you wrote an episode of NYPD Blue.
Actually, I did 7 of the first 12 of NYPD Blue, including the pilot.
Oh.
And I wrote an episode.
Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy the writing experience?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you enjoy the writing experience?
Oh yeah, I love writing. I mean, it's up there with acting as far as I'm concerned. I've written plays. I started out in theater in Chicago, and I've co-authored plays. One play became a TV series for a short time. The script for NYPD Blue. I'm very proud of that. Bunch of screenplays that have been optioned but never been produced and probably will never see the light of day. And I'm currently working on a novel and a bunch of short stories. So, I love writing. It's the thing that keeps me sane. The thing about acting is it's one of those things, in order to do it, you actually have to do it in front of people. You can't just sit quietly in your room and recite soliloquies. It's really, really weird and disconcerting to your neighbors.
Man, I've been wasting my time.
But you can write by yourself, and every once in a while I'll go to UCLA and sign up for a class, and that's my.
Is it disappointing when you write something that doesn't get made into a film or into a TV show or anything like that?
It used to be, I mean, when a thing is option, that's probably as close as most people will get, in terms of how the process works. The fact that somebody wanted to do it, whether or not they can raise the money to get it done, is another thing entirely. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, when I write something, it has a specific destination, and I've been very, very lucky to have it reach that destination. Mm-hmm. When I was with the theater company, the Organic Theater Company in Chicago, we wrote as a company, and that was extremely fulfilling. I mean, when the show that became the TV series, it was called ER Emergency Room. No, everyone, it's not that one. There was one before that starred Elliot Gould and Mary McDonald, and it was produced by Norman Lears, and we got about 20 episodes out of it before it careened into a sitcom abyss. But then, of course, like within 2 or 4 years later, the Juggernaut hit the screen, and we're going, oh, man, we missed it by that much. Maxwell Smart. But, disappointment is part and parcel of the journey, whether you're an actor or a writer. Not everything works out, and you somehow must find a way, particularly as an actor, to thrive on insecurity. Otherwise, you're going to get the hell out in a big hurry.
Yeah. After you finished Henry, it was I guess a couple of years before it was released. Did you think at the time maybe it would never be released?
I didn't. I didn't ever think it would be released. Yeah. Honestly, after 2 years and the way we did it, it was. Well, you figure, okay, it's over. And the person who handled the business of it was not the most reputable of individuals, and I was surprised when what happened to it did happen, and so that was what actually did occur was quite remarkable, quite shocking. Mm-hmm. For something that, again, that was a project we entered into just pretty much for the hell of it. And that was a first-time director, John McNaughton. And, again, it was having fun under the most adverse circumstances you can possibly be presented with.
Yeah, on the special edition DVD, I think it's on the commentary track, he mentions that he wanted to do a sequel where it was kind of about after Henry got caught and what really happened to the real guy and how he kind of became a celebrity. Do you think that would have made a good sequel?
I wouldn't have been in it, so I don't care. Now, that's vanity at its best.
Right.
If it ain't me, I don't care. I'm dead by then, so do what the hell you want, man.
Were you happy with the special edition DVD?
I actually haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is going to get really weird because I don't like to watch myself that much.
Yeah.
And going to watch Henry, I've only seen it 4 times. And that's pretty much enough for me. What I look at are the flaws in the performance and what I should have thought about and done and didn't do. So I separate myself from it. Plus, the other aspect is when a job is over, man, you really do have to let it go. It's lovely, all the stuff that happened to it. I'm very proud to have done it, as I am very proud to have done everything. But when they're over, it's time to go out and look for the next job.
Right. That's probably a character you wouldn't want to stick with for too long.
No, it's a tremendously misogynistic film in its own way, and it didn't get me a lot of chicks, man. So I'm letting it go.
I think I probably would have been kind of worried about the kind of chicks that you would get from that movie.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man, any woman who can quote from that movie, you say, oh my God, look at the time. Oh, God. Waiter, check. No.
We get a caller here. Who is this?
This is Andre.
Hi, you're on air with Tom Towles. You have a question?
Hi, Tom, what is your favorite character that you've played?
Favorite character that I've played, man. Andre, I'm not trying to put you off. It's just that without my resume in front of me, I don't really remember a lot of what I've done. Because, like I say, I like to do it and forget about it and move on. I had a lot of fun doing Henry. I've had a lot of fun in all of Rob's movies. I guess probably the most fun that I've had was doing that little piece, Werewolf Women of the SS, because I was working with Udo Kerr, and you put a hairpiece and a scar on a guy in a Nazi uniform, and and they let you talk in a German accent. You got to have fun with that.
Yeah.
Another surprisingly fun part I had was in a movie I did called Blood In, Blood Out. Taylor Hackford directed, and I was teamed up with Billy Bob Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the funniest people you will ever work with. And he just made the whole process delightful. And we're in the middle of San Quentin, locked in with the inmates shooting scenes for 12, 14 hours a day. So that was kind of fun and a very...
I think that's actually a really underrated movie. I've always liked them. I remember it kind of came out the same time as another one, which is, I think, based off the same true story.
American Me.
Yeah, American Me, right.
Well, I think the biggest problem Blood In, Blood Out faced was that it was about to be released just before the 92, the riots in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And once the city went on fire, Disney, or more precisely, I think Hollywood Pictures, just said, "Oh my God, we can't release this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We have to change the title. We'll call it Bound by Honor, and we'll just sort of slip it out there because we spent so much money to make it. That's it."
I think Blood In, Blood Out was like the subtitle when it was released, but I think on DVD it's just called Blood In, Blood Out. Yeah,
I can hope for the best because Blood In, Blood Out is a much better title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually liked both movies, but I'm not just saying this because you're here. But I always thought Blood In, Blood Out was a better movie than American Me.
I'm prejudiced. I agree with you. The other thing that Blood In, Blood Out did, it introduced me to Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
And that's the first time that I worked with Danny, and, we've been friends ever since. He's absolutely another totally hysterical guy to work with. It was an interesting, good movie to be a part of because it had so many great characters in it. I mean, great actors. Benjamin Bratt, Ving Rhames, Billy Bob Thornton, Danny Trejo. Man. It was a powerhouse, I thought. And we had another instance of just having a great time, a bunch of guys hanging out in prison and making a movie.
Yeah. Well, the making the movie part was probably not just hanging out in prison, but making a movie.
Hanging out in prison was an education. I'm telling you, it was an education.
Yeah, I don't know what this speaks to me, but
now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that movie and the TV show Oz. I don't know what that says about me. But anything else, Andre?
I think that's it.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks, Andre. Appreciate the call.
I'll see you at the Rock and Shock convention.
I look forward to it. Introduce yourself. Let me know you're there.
All right, I will.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And I guess I just finished a new movie, Blood on the Highway.
Yeah, a vampire comedy movie.
Oh.
One of the funniest scripts I've read in a very long time. It's produced by a bunch of people out of Texas. I have no idea when it'll ever hit the market, and all I can say is anytime you work with the director whose name is Barack Epstein, you got to go with it. It's totally cool. It should be. I don't know. I think it's going to be a riot, but we'll see. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about it and then bringing that to the fore when I get the chance.
Do you think that's a good mix, comedy and horror? And sometimes kind of hard to do if you put too much comedy in the horror movie or maybe too much horror in the comedy movie?
I think you err on the side of more comedy in the horror than more horror in the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy can float it for a long time, but you put too much horror in it, you're gonna create a problem that's I don't think is very solvable.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that work, and the ones that don't just sort of go,
Did you try to bring some comedy to your role in Henry as Otis? Because, if you watch it, there is a lot of comedy in the movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my position on being a villain is real villains have senses of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own little way of looking at the world. And with Otis, his seduction into that world, because that is not where he started. He began as, a cellmate of Henry's, and Henry just wove him into the process, and he took to it like the proverbial duck to water.
Mm-hmm.
And for him, it was like totally exciting and so much fun to kill all these people, and that's sort of how I played it. There's a lot of stuff that John would not let me put in, and probably rightly so, because I would have gone completely insane with that.
I know there's one scene that they actually talked about on the, I don't know if it's a commentary track or making of on this 20th anniversary, but it's when you shoot the guy in the like on the side of the road, and then you were going to put the gun in the hand, and
It's like suicide.
Right.
Yeah. Brilliant theatrical move, Tom. No, Tom. Put the gun down and walk away. That was John's comment. So.
Do you think that was kind of the point of the movie, was to get people into the violence of the movie, like smashing the TV over someone's head, and then show kind of the more disturbing, like realistic scenes, like when you break into the house?
I think one of the things that made the violence effective is that it, for the most part, you didn't really see all of the violence, the action that led to it. You saw the effect of it, which is a very sort of classic presentation. And that was John's intent. And he built it, structured the development of the film in a way that the few moments where you actually do see the violence are truly, truly disturbing. The murder of the family, the murder of the pawn of the fence is marginal compared to that. And then that violence escalates into the rape of my sister and my beheading, and then the end is you don't ever see Becky killed. You just see her end up in a suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you think that was released?
I think that was what made it, empowered it. and made it a more literate film in that sense.
Do you think if that movie was released today, it'd still get like an NC-17 or an X rating?
Oh, you don't get me started on the MPAA. They're just, that's what that entire, what was that movie? This film is unrated. Is that what it's called? The little expose of the MPAA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother story. Anytime you're given an X rating for a disturbing moral tone, you know that the censors have control of things.
Right.
And a disturbing moral tone, yes. And what is wrong with that?
Right, there's no way you can just go and, cut that out of your movie.
I don't know. That's a political issue, and
We get Santo on the line here.
Hey, how you doing?
One of our regular callers.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the name.
It's Santo. Santo from New Orleans.
Hi, Santo.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Hey.
Santo's from New Orleans.
Oh, hey, man. Has it dried your city out any? I was actually in Miami when Katrina came through, crossed over as a Category 2, went into the Gulf, and then headed towards New Orleans and became a Category 5. So I was down there at that time, man.
Oh man, yeah, we're coming back up little by little, man. But we're doing all right.
No, hang in there, brother. It's a beautiful thing.
We are. Yeah. Hope you see you come down here to make a movie.
I'd love to. Actually, my sister was down there and evacuated just before Katrina hit. And I didn't know where she was for 2 weeks. So, that was one of the more terrifying familial moments that I've experienced.
Right.
But I digress, Santo. Please, it's your call. What's up, man?
Hey, I want to ask you a question. I wanted to ask you, the Dog Day Afternoon movie. I think that's one of your first. Now, if I remember correctly, if the movie, it's been a while. I mean, they said you was the gunman. Were you that extra gunman that got chickened out in the movie and left?
No, man. I was actually. It's my very first SAG feature, Screen Actors Guild feature, and that movie, I did extra work on it. I was just a cop holding the people back at the barricades, and I got my card, and they took me to the airport, which turned out to be 2 days of 16 hours one day, 14 hours one day, 16 hours the next. And those 2 days paid for my SAG card completely. So I'm very, very happy to list that as my very first film. I got some great photographs of Al Pacino and John Casals, and I can't find the negatives to save my life, because those things are just fabulous. But anyway, man. I'm shooting in New York. It's November, and it's supposed to be August. It's 40 degrees, and and you're wearing your coat, and they say, all right, everybody take off your coats. And behind that crowd, when they go, Attica, Attica, is a huge pile of coats that no one ever sees. Movie magic. I love it. Show business is my life.
Yeah, I do. I want to say the Blood In, Blood Out movie, you was in, that was a great movie. And also enjoyed your work in the Devil's, in the Thousand Corpse. Did a great job in there.
Thank you so much. I always appreciate hearing that.
Yeah, and hope to see you, in future movies. Hope to see you make a movie too.
From your lips to God's ear, what can I say?
Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Have a great day or night. All of the above.
We mentioned this before he came on. I don't know if you're aware, but the original Cooper, Carl Hardman, passed away Saturday from Night of the Living Dead. From the original.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of that.
From the original Night of the Living Dead, Carl Hardman, who played Cooper, he passed away Saturday.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just read about it today.
Oh man.
I was wondering, when you played the role, did you watch the original one did you want to try to base your character off his portrayal, or did you want to do your own take on it?
I tried to do my own take on it, but when I first saw Night of the Living Dead, it was at the Waverly Theater in New York at midnight, and I could not believe what I saw when it was all over. That was one of those movies that just was so phenomenal. It left an incredible impact on me. And you can't really separate yourself from that sort of past if you've experienced it that way. So, certainly his performance entered into what I did. But again, it's all about keeping the director happy, and it was whatever Tom Savini wanted, not what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what did you think of Tom Savini? I guess that was the first movie he directed.
I absolutely love Tom, but it wore him down. There was a lot of stuff going on in his personal life that seemed to coincide at that exact moment.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a terrific director, but most people don't realize that directing is an experience in sleep deprivation. You direct for 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours. Then you take another 2 to 3 hours and watch dailies, make notes on that, and if you get 1 or 2 hours sleep a day during actual production, you're really doing extremely well.
Plus all the makeup on the movie. Was he in charge of the special effects and the makeup too?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I believe we lost him. We could
I don't know.
Go to
might be in the basement hiding from the zombies.
Huh?
Oh, there he is. He's back. We lost you there for a second.
No, wait. Am I back yet?
He's back. He's back.
Cool. That was those guys. They were Savini's proteges, and they were fabulous.
Oh yeah.
Dedicated, and then to watch them become who they became, it's like, oh, those kids, they're doing so well. I'm so proud of them.
Well, you didn't get to. I don't think you get to wear any zombie makeup in that one, but you wore some makeup in Star Trek Voyager. What was that like to go through? Getting all the makeup on.
It's always fun to do those, because you have to get up real early in the morning, then you sit there and guys lay little bits of latex and adhesive over your face, and it makes your day really, really long. And long days equate to nice paydays. Selfishly and greedily, I think, oh yes, makeup, good.
Right. So you gotta check that out if you get a script. Like, is there any makeup in this?
I'm sorry, what?
So when you get a script, you gotta check it out. Maybe see if there's any makeup.
Not the first thing I look for. Get a new script. I think, how does it read?
Right.
What is it like? Is it worth it? What part do they want me to play? And everything falls into place after that. If there's a lot of makeup, it's a question of what's the budget on this film?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of makeup and a really low-budget film just means a lot of agony.
Right.
I'm not putting down low-budget films because I've done a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But, you have to sort of balance these things these days.
Have you ever done any Star Trek conventions?
No, not at all. I really wanted to do one once after I worked with Bill Shatner on his movie, and just to be there near him, because another truly great guy to work with.
Yeah.
But they said, I'm sorry, we don't know you.
Oh.
Said, okay, all right. I won't mention it again.
No, well, if you ever get the chance to do one, you'll have to, I wanted to ask you, like, which is crazy. The horror fans are the Trekkies. So after the Rock and Shock, you have to do one of these Star Trek conventions.
I will. I look forward to experiencing the difference between the two. I think it's kind of unlikely that I'll be, at a Star Trek convention, because I've only done a couple of essentially bit parts on Voyager and Deep Space Nine, and unless you do the real deal, unless you do, Star Trek Next Generation, which is the only one I was, would have qualified for in terms of time and opportunity. They sort of don't give a shit. If you're not Patrick Stewart, who the hell are you?
Well, we remind everyone, October 12th, 13th, and 14th at the DCU Center and the Palladium in Worcester, Massachusetts. You got the Rock and Shaw Convention, which you get your horror actors, and you also have there's going to be a concert. They have this every year. rockandshock.com. It's in Worcester, Massachusetts. Anything you want to tell everybody out there? You know why they should come and see you?
Be there or be square. You love horror, you will love this convention. Show up, damn it. Don't clown around. Get your ass over there. That's all I got to say. You don't want me coming to your house.
Awesome.
Okay?
It's great. We really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Oh, no, man. I had a great time. Thank you guys for asking me.
Oh, we actually have one call here. Can we take it real quick?
Sure.
All right. Caller, you got the last question of the night. You're Tom Towles.
What's that?
Hello?
Yeah.
You're not,
Can you hear me?
you didn't call to order like a pizza or something, did you?
You got a pepperoni.
Well, I don't know.
Well, first of all, who is this?
It's Scott.
Okay, Scott, you're on air with Tom Towles. You got a question?
Who? Oh.
Oh, God. What, did you know you were calling into?
I know
your head?
exactly how you feel. That's how I feel when I talk to myself. It's a little confusing, but it's okay.
Scott left us. That was a hell of a last question.
Scott.
Yeah, I think we should have skipped that.
What the hell, Scott? You deserve me. Fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. I went too far again, didn't I?
That was I think that was a call I should have missed. But
Oh, how my life revolves around words like that.
well, we really appreciate you coming on again. We'll edit that all out of the archive.
Hey, everybody, this is Tyler Main, and you are listening to WithoutYourHead.com. I still got mine. You got yours?